Wow, Ducharme is out and St. Louis is in. The Montreal Canadiens have flipped their organization over again after going through the Marc Bergevin situation, bringing in Jeff Gorton and Kent Hughes. Now you go ahead and let Dominic Ducharme, 1 year removed from his Stanley Cup playoff run, second place, runner-up overall, and coming off of a 3-year, $1.7 million per year contract. You let him go. They hire St. Louis. We're moving forward, and this is one of the hottest pieces of news to hit Hockeyland because it's happening to the Montreal Canadiens, and it is one of the most prolific players in NHL history. So what does this mean? Who is Marty St. in terms of his coaching record? We all know who he is as a player. We're going to go ahead and dive into that in this video right now. And Coach Ryan D, who is a certified Hockey Canada high-performance coach, will give you his thoughts and opinions on whether or not hiring a player with no NHL coaching experience is the right move. And Habs fans, a lot of you have been here since your cup run into the playoffs. If you're new here, Montreal fans, go take a look at some of my amazing Montreal videos at the end of this video that we broke down. Smash subscribe, smash like, join us. You're definitely going to want to have this channel popping up on your homepage from time to time. So first things first, the Habs made it to the cup final last year on the back of, I hate to say it, Carey Price. There was great play, and Habs fans, they're going to torch me for it. It's hilarious. When I say it's not Carey Price and it's the system, they go, but Carey Price. When you say it's Carey Price and it's not the team, they go, but it's the team. You can't make fan bases happy. This is not a unique challenge to Montreal. This is just hockey as a whole. Now, if you don't believe me on the fact that this system was highly based around Carey Price and the success of the Montreal Canadiens over the last decade, then at the end of this video, you need to go take a look at my breakdown of the Montreal Canadiens system that got them to the Stanley Cup Finals. It's a real gem. And then you can see what I'm talking about, why the system is based around such a hot goaltender. It just didn't work with Jake Allen, and it's not going to work with somebody else. So the team must transition. Their systems must change. The types of players they target must change. All the thinking of Montreal under Marc Bergevin needs to flip under Hughes and Gorton and their vision, using St. Louis as the coach and the conduit to get it done. Now, here's the benefit to hiring St. Louis as this coach. He may not have professional coaching experience, but what St. Louis does bring is a massive NHL career as a player who is basically overlooked the entire way through. I can tell you right now what St. Louis knows. He knows what not to do. That's very simple. Every year of St. Louis' career, all the way up until the end, when his own general manager, Steve Yzerman, took his captain in St. Louis and left him off of the Team Canada Olympic squad, even though he was one of the best players in the NHL at that point, although be it older, he left him off the original Olympic team selection. It ended up in a rough trade between him and the New York Islanders. Look, Yzerman got it done. That team's a juggernaut. But at the end of the day, that's not really how you treat a player in his twilight who's wearing your C, carrying your franchise like St. Louis did. He did a little bit dirty, and I love Steve Yzerman, so I'm not taking sides in this one, but he sees exactly how to treat players and how players want to be treated, and that's important. From the fact that he was a smaller player in the NHL, and a lot of people talk, I remember the old Don Cherry, Mighty Mouse, here he comes. He's 5'8". Like, he's not like this 5'2" player where you're sitting here going like, oh my God, look how tiny he is. It looks funny when he's standing next to Zdeno Chara in some of those pictures, but at the end of the day, most men and a lot of players in the NHL are 5'10" to 6'1". 5'8" is like only a couple inches shorter than them. It doesn't look that weird. It just looks weird when you're standing next to a bunch of guys 6'4", but it never made him any less effective. The thing with St. Louis through his career, though, is that he played through the clutch and grab era. So he had to get through guys like Chris Pronger, Scott Stevens, just massive players like that would hold you, they would stick you, they would run you, shoulder, elbows up. Elbow up was a clean hit. The Scott Stevens hit is no longer legal in today's NHL, kiddies. St. Louis played through that era and he succeeded. He succeeded massively everywhere he went. So when you have to battle through adversity and through people telling you this is no good or that's no good, leaving you off rosters, you find a really good perspective on life and you become very good at communicating to players. You become very good at communicating to your peers. And the other thing that he brings is credibility. He has a Stanley Cup. He has an Olympic gold medal. When he sits in that room and the young players look up at him and go, "You want me to do what?" They are going to pay attention to him quicker than almost anybody else in the room because of the clout he carries during his playing days, the fact that he's a winner and has won the ring, and the fact that he has an Olympic gold medal. He's done everything that every single one of those players coming through the Habs organization, even if they end up getting Shane Wright, the first overall pick, nobody can come into that Habs organization as a player and say, "I've done more, I've done it better. Who are you to tell me that these things happen?" It's not going to happen because it is very hard to compare yourself to the career of an NHL All-Star with the pedigree of St. Louis. So two huge benefits for him are the fact that he's going to be an excellent communicator who's overcome adversity, and he's a winner. Now the downsides. Look, Habs fans, you got to be real on this one. All NHL fans have to be. It's an incestuous sport. They only hire ex-players for the most part. You can point to the Scotty Bowmans or a couple of the oddballs here and there who may not. And sure, the NHL's transitioning to more analytics, but whatever. Ex-players still rule the world like 80-85% of the roles. And just because you were a good hockey player doesn't mean you're going to be a good coach, and it doesn't mean you're going to be a good front office person. So he's assuming the role of coach, and we all seen it even with the great one, Wayne Gretzky. Just because you're really good doesn't mean you can communicate that to your players. So I just said St. Louis is a good communicator. I think he's going to be, but the proof will be in the pudding because we have no experience to draw on to see how his players feel about him. We just don't know. And it's really interesting when you take up such a large role like this and everybody is looking at you to call the shots and lead the room. This is different than being a captain, folks. Being a captain, you could say it. Sure, he's led players before. Everybody looked up to him, but it's different when you have to make the final decision and when you have to be the disciplinary figure to people as well. St. Louis is going to put an interesting stamp on this team, folks. He is likely going to change the team mentality and the team structure to play similar to the way he played when he was younger. That is getting in the corners, battling, using body position, and playing with speed. St. Louis was ahead of his time. Like, let's be honest on this. If St. Louis was playing right now in today's game, he would be even better than he was when he played in the clutch and grab era of the early 2000s and the late 90s. He transitioned through both eras just fine because he is that high skilled. So he's going to look for high skilled guys that play the game right. And that is really exciting. I love the possibility of what St. Louis, Kent Hughes, and Jeff Gorton can do as a group of three to move Montreal forward in this full rebuild. I'll tell you what, if I was a Habs fan, I'd be pretty stoked right now. That's where I would be sitting. I'd be very hopeful for the future, but I would have it in the back of my mind that this may not work. It may not. It is a little bit of an unproven piece with St. Louis. And I know people in Montreal are very hungry. The attention span's very short. That's why so many coaches get fired there all the time, because different directions have to be taken when you have a fan base that demands as many cups as Montreal. So it's hard to play in that sense. So always having that little caveat in the back of your mind. I think this is the answer, but it may not be. I'm sorry I can't give you any more than that from the perspective of a hockey coach here, because we're just going to have to see what St. Louis can do over the next 2 or 3 years with the draft picks that he's going to get. Montreal fans, let me know what you think down below in the comments.